So just wanted to give a real whistle-stop tour of JobsASI, Artificial Specific Intelligence for jobs. So we connect to your applicant tracking system, very quick, 1-2 click integration. We then take the job information, turn that into a scorecard, and assess candidates against that scorecard. So this is me. If you're using Ashby, then this is what it will look like within Ashby. So we've got a note here with all this information, a top line score, as well as a lot of reasoning around why someone's been given such and such a score, and references to the resume. So that's really useful if you're just going through. Obviously, if you're looking at it from the sort of application review, you're much more likely to be here. And again, here we are, right? So you've got this information here, so you can check our scores against whether you think that these candidates are good or not. So what that allows you to do is actually spot check a bunch of candidates and look at the scores and see, right, I'm seeing this trend now of I'm happy with, this score being someone that I want to speak to. We actually have this score structured here as data in Ashby, and in the same as Greenhouse and other things. What that allows you to do then is say, okay, cool, I've seen candidates and I know that anyone, less than or equal to 60 is, for whatever reason, someone I don't want to progress through this role. So now using the inbuilt applicant tracking system tools, I can quickly archive, or consider for job, vice versa, depending on what you want to do, enroll in sequence, all of the things that you could do in your applicant tracking system, but now based on a score that I've had generated through generative AI. That's what we do in a nutshell. We also look at then the accuracy and efficiency of that we're giving you for that. So we look at the bottom 10, 20, or 30% of candidates, and this allows us to understand, right, what we found is customers are spending 15 to 25 hours a week just looking at CVs. If you can save you 10% of that time, that's 2 hours back in your busy schedule each week. We're actually getting much closer now to 40-50%, but this gives you confidence at the beginning that you're going to see some improvement in your workflow without losing any interviews. So in this example, this is obviously example data, so you'll get your historic data when you sign up for a free trial, but we can show you what percentage of interviews you'd lose out if you were to reject the bottom 10% of candidates, and vice versa, to find those interviews, how many CVs you'd have to look through. So on average, we're finding in the bottom 10%, we are getting 700 or 1,000 CVs that people are going to have to look through to get one interview, and in a lot of cases actually infinity, so there just aren't any interviews happening at all for candidates that we've scored in that bottom 10%. It's often conflated with the fact that people will have interviews for candidates who they think would be good for another role when they've applied for this role, which is, our scoring is very role related. So that's one of the reasons why that happens. The other thing that you get for free is this Monte Carlo method estimated closing dates for all roles. So what we do is we play a scenario through for each of your roles. We simulate what's going to happen in that role 10,000 times, and then we add up all those probabilities of when you're likely to close a candidate, and this gives you every day an updated forecast of each day in the future with a percentage chance of that likelihood of happening. So if you move 4 candidates into the final stage, this number is going to go up loads. It's going to be way more likely that you're going to close that role really quickly. And vice versa, if you have 4 candidates at final stage drop out, well, this number is going to go down a lot, and you're back to square one potentially. And this really just allows you to have a much more data-driven conversation with either your stakeholders, hiring managers, but also finance. And that's that.